Hey, it's Norm from Tested.com. I'm here at Comic-Con 2014 at the Sideshow Collectibles booth. Once again with Tom Gilliland, the creative director of Sideshow. How has this event been for you guys so far?
It's been fantastic. I mean, you know, Comic-Con is a great opportunity for us to interface with the fans one-on-one, hear their feedback, share what's new. And you know, that kind of excitement is sort of priceless.
Now, we visited your offices earlier this year, and I got to see some products in development, and now the pre-production prototypes are here, so a lot of new products. Let's start off with my favorite, the 6th scale collectibles. You guys have been doing Star Wars 6th scale for a long time, and now you're doing some superheroes and some other licenses. So how does that differ from your premium format, your bigger sculptures? How does that scale down, and what do you guys want to do in that market?
Well, the 6th scale figure is quite a bit different than the premium format. The premium format is really sort of a fixed statement, whereas the 6th scale thing is about the sort of the the manipulation of the character. You can pose it in a number of ways, and there's a little bit more interactive thing. Kind of brings the fan or the collector into the character. So when we're doing 6th scale stuff, we're looking for characters that maybe connect with people in a slightly different way, and our styled approach is going to be a lot different. So generally, it's about getting that sort of outer skin and form and the look, and having that be the focus, and letting pose be something then that the collector himself sort of infuses into the project.
Now, in terms of the costuming, you guys, it's all cloth, and you guys do the cut and sew with your premium format. It's actually real cloth material, leather, fake leather. How does that translate down to these figures?
The thing that's interesting about what we're doing primarily with this 6th scale stuff is, especially with these superhero suits, is doing a lot of overprinting sometimes in silicones and other types of materials that create either mesh patterns or things that add some dimension to that notion of spandex. And I think it kind of comes from the way that they are solving superhero suits in film, for better or worse. But it does give you that sense of dimension. So you can have a character that really is just sort of in a muscle suit, but that it has a certain personality. There's different textures and whatnot. Breaks it up for the eye, gives it a little bit more to look at and whatnot.
So for your Star Wars line, you also are now doing some vehicles and also droids. There's R2-D2, and so how does the design of that and the mold of that work?
Well, the thing there is that we've been doing Star Wars for a while, and we continue to put a lot of effort in there to try and keep up with the pace of 6th scale development across the spectrum, which is pretty much nuts at this point, especially since the factory capability in China has gotten to a point where they can do this kind of high-level detail. So we're trying to get that and get the best out of it. The vehicles, in our mind, are a great way to kind of expand the story or expand the world that we've been building for so long in that regard. They also provide another outlet. That is, not everyone is as interested in the 6th scale format specifically, but they may be interested in sort of the more desktop model.
Absolutely, so that R2?
It's a way to kind of, it gives us a way to draw in collectors that might be a little bit more model collectors that are more into the machinery of a project, and and sort of cross the worlds of where people's fan focus is going to be.
That R2 looks great. It's going to live great on my desk. Everyone pre-ordered already. So many accessories. Now, Tom, let's go take a look at your premium format figures.
Perfect.
This is what Sideshow is really known for. These 4th scale figures, and you have a lot of new ones. What's new this year?
Well, we've done a Dr. Doom. We've got a Emma Frost from as the White Queen, a Boba Fett. We're showing Daredevil and our modern Thor, so some few pieces that have been coming into the spectrum of sales over the last couple of months.
And as I look across the line, almost all of these have some tailoring, of some element of real cloth and clothing, and especially this Dr. Doom, if you look at it across, there's the legendary scale Dr. Doom. It looks like that one just scaled down a little bit.
That's when we try and approach the characters and sort of develop a Sideshow style or a Sideshow look to the characters, and we've gotten a lot of great opportunity from both DC and Marvel in being able to sort of interpret the characters. That's something they kind of embrace. So for us to kind of put our little Sideshow stamp on it is something that's actually additionally rewarding to us. Dr. Doom is a nice piece. He's a kind of a classic premium format character. He's a very powerful character in our very early days of our premium format. We did one where he's sitting on a throne. It's sort of extremely sought after, and we realized, man, how can we have not gone back to this guy in like 10 years? So we wanted to do something like that. It was a little more accessible, so we did him a little bit more commanding standing pose this time. But again, the premium format is well known as being a sort of multimedia statue that takes the best advantage of fabric elements and leathers, metals, and whatever else it takes to sort of get that full costume kind of detail. It gives it a lot more depth, a little bit more, just a little more composition overall to the whole piece, And I think it has a charm all its own when you approach it that way.
Now, what do you think as a creative director is more fun to work on? Something that's a movie adaptation, like Steve Rogers from the first Avenger, or something that's more the idealized version from the comic book?
Well, everything has its own charms, right? But I think the staff definitely takes a little bit more, or a little more of our passion comes to the fore when we're doing something that has a little bit more of our interpretation. We get a chance to sort of showcase our artistry, but anytime we can kind of infuse our imagination, that's definitely something that gets us more excited.
Now you talk about imagination and passion, and this year you guys have something that's purely from your imagination. It's something completely new. Let's go check that out.
Absolutely.
So Tom, tell me about the Court of the Dead. We saw pre-production sketches when we were down there at your offices, and now these are actual pre-production models.
Yep. So what this is Sideshow's biggest original effort to date. We've done various things throughout the years, but this is really kind of a launch point for us to step into something that's as much about product development as it is story development. So Court of the Dead is a project we're going to be working on in not just our premium formats, we're going to push that into some of our other plastic formats as well. But even broader and bigger is sort of art books, source books, and graphic novels into 2015. So this is really something that we're going to be supporting and pushing the story that kind of chronicles death and the underworld as sort of the unlikeliest heroes that you can imagine, sort of caught between an oppressive and seemingly endless war between heaven and hell, wherein death sort of sees the need to bring balance back to the universe and is looking to take the three factions of the underworld, flesh, spirit, and bone, and unite them into an army capable of restoring this balance back to a universe just out of control with madness.
Can you call out some of the characters here and some of their stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So a piece that people may be very familiar with at this point is Reaper General Demethyl. This was a very big sort of legendary scale maquette that we did a number of years ago. He's a sort of linchpin character in the Bone faction, sort of the military face of the underworld, if you will. It's kind of Game of Thrones in the underworld aspect. So that sort of intrigue that's going on, the three factions are contentious. They're united in death's purpose, but as things are, an eclectic team of the sort of refugees of this world, which is what these characters make up, have kind of a dynamic where they're struggling with each other as much as they're trying to struggle with the big picture.
Wow, it sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun telling a story and also designing just the most crazy, outlandish, and beautiful statues that we've seen so far here.
Well, this kind of comes from, I have a bit of a film background. I worked in special effects with Rick Baker or whatnot, and seeing how these, the heart and the essence of characters, and also, 20 years of Dungeons and Dragons playing, sort of taught me that, when you're creating these sort of character pantheons, one of the things that really kind of drives the story and drives interest is certainly good character visual design, but also giving them a spirit or an entity that really resonates with things that we're familiar with. So we look at these characters, and the thing that I'm kind of asking folks to look at through this very big anti-hero kind of showcase is that notion of, don't judge a book by its cover. So a lot of the more hideous characters are actually the ones that are a little bit more noble, and those that are a little more beatific tend to be the ones that are a little bit more poisonous on the inside. So the project is as much about this big epic celestial story as it is a little bit of a sort of an allegory in the way we look at things in the world. Too much in the extreme needs to be brought to a sort of moderation in the center.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for giving us the whole preview of what you have new here at Comic-Con 2014.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
And we'll have more from Sideshow Collectibles and Comic-Con on Tested.com. I'm Norm. I'll see you next time. Bye.